Greetings, my fellow YouTubers. This is a shot of whiskey, and yes, I am clean shaven again for the first time in God knows how long. Yay! So, there's actually a reason for this, as well as a reason for why I don't have my long hair anymore. I got a haircut. So, they both involve special times of the year for me. Let's talk about this since this happened first. And I'm pretty sure I kind of tapped into this a little bit earlier. So I wanted to do this back in October, like around Halloween, because November is No Shave November. It's also No Nut November, but from what I understand, that's mostly an otaku thing, anime fan thing. I personally don't take part in it. I like to nut whenever I feel like it, and I don't care what anybody says. But I do the whole No Shave November because that actually has meaning to it. And now that it's December, I decided now it's the perfect time to shave it off. And in all honesty, I'm kind of regretting that decision. It's kind of cold out here. It's like 39 degrees right now. Something like that. Could be worse. Could be worse. And as the year goes on, it will. But I'll probably keep doing this. As far as the hair, Saturday was my birthday. And hang on a second, I'm going to check something out. Why are you being so weird, light? I might need to clean this lens. But yeah, Saturday was my birthday. I am now 83 years old. Wait. No, I'm sorry, 38 years old. And I had told my mom that the only thing that I really wanted her to give me for my birthday is a haircut. Which I did that for two reasons. One, she doesn't exactly have a lot of money to get me a present. And with Hanukkah coming up, that means something to her. She's got 5 grandkids that she wants to think about. And we are actually going to do something Hanukkah-ish at her house during the holiday. So she wants to do something for them and for her children, which does include me. So obviously she wasn't going to get me anything for my birthday. So I'm like, give me a haircut. We'll do that. The other reason why I made that request is because of work. I've been noticing over the past few weeks that I'll have a couple of strands of hair here and there get caught into something. Hasn't been a big issue yet, but I do have this worry that eventually a couple strands are going to come into or become a couple chunks. And I'll either have something pulled out of my scalp to the point where it causes damage, or it might twist my neck in a way to where I could die. So I figured that it'd be better to avoid that. I mean, that second option is far less likely. There's not a whole lot of dangerous equipment that I work with. There is some, but not a lot. So yeah, there's that. We're all caught up on talking about my personal hair. This weekend, while my birthday was going on, I tried working on a video for you guys. There's a particular video that a lot of us MGTOW have been responding to, and I kind of wanted to throw my own 2 cents in, especially since there are certain points that I have heard nobody has brought up. So I wanted to do something like that. I was working on it on Saturday. I was using a video computer screen recorder program, kind of like OBS, but in my opinion, better, because it actually works. I hate OBS. I can never get it to work right. And how I know that this stuff works better is I actually used it to record me playing some video games. Largely because I'm wanting to make a video for you guys that relates to video games. I thought it'd be better to show some actual gameplay that I would do. Damn, these lights are annoying. That's not bad. So there's that. That's pretty much what I did on Saturday while I was actually awake. I actually spent most of the day sleeping. As far as Sunday goes, it took me a while to do this, but I got around to watching some football, and I watched my Seahawks. Yay! For those of you who don't know, Seattle played one of the worst games, possibly the worst game that they have ever played since Russell Wilson was the starting quarterback. It was terrible. Now, I'm not going to rant about whose fault it is or anything like that, Schottenheimer. But I'm just going to say, oh God, I was pissed off. I mean, the first half was kind of funny because the final score was just 5-0 in favor of Seattle. They had gotten a safety during the last few seconds of the game, and because it was a case to where it was a blocked punt, and the ball goes into the end zone, and a player from the Seahawks is trying to grab the ball before it goes out of bounds. Well, see, here's the thing. One of his hands went out of bounds before he got possession of the ball. So by rule, that means it's out of bounds. If he had his left hand inward and trying to scoop around the ball as he used his right hand to actually grab the damn thing, it would have been a touchdown. But nope, hand play mistake, lesson learned. So instead of going into halftime with a score of 9 or possibly 10-0, they went in 5-0. But for whatever reason, Seattle just fucking choked during the third quarter. They allowed New York's running back to just beat the living hell out of their defense. It was kind of, honestly, I kind of want to laugh at it. It was just bad. Really, really bad. And Seattle's offense never got around to it. So, I'm sorry. I said I wasn't going to rant about this too much. My mistake, sorry. But, Sunday was the day that I did this. Because, I wanted to get it done before I went back to work. Made sense to me. The only other thing of note that I did on Sunday, and a part of me is kind of debating on whether or not I want to do its own separate video on this. So, for those of you who actually do watch this and leave comments down below, let me know if you want me to actually do a video on this. I won't go into too much detail. Long story short, I got into a Twitter argument starting on Sunday. It continued on today, well, Monday. I know by the time I post this online, it's going to be Tuesday. In fact, it's currently Tuesday now, but it feels like Monday because, it's still the end of the workday for me and I haven't gotten home yet. But the way the debate went was funny. It started off, actually the very, very thing that started it off was President Trump making that tweet where he talked about Rudy Giuliani getting Sorry, I'm actually trying not to piss off the YouTube algorithm right now. I'm not going to do fuck it. COVID. We all know what the fuck it is. Grow up, YouTube. It's COVID. Anyways, it was that particular tweet in which he made that initial announcement. I followed this chain of people making snide comments that were going on. It's a very specific chain. Didn't get too far into it. It was the fourth one. Okay, so maybe it's really far. But it was the fourth one, which part of why this stood out was this is the one that I actually found first. Somebody else who I follow responded to this, so I saw this, and I looked at the whole conversation. I'm like, I'm going to respond to this moron. But basically, he said, Americans who value freedom more than the sick and dying are horrible people. That's basically what he said. And so I had said some sort of comment along the lines of, it is better to be a free human being and fight this thing off naturally than to let the government control your life using methods that don't work and that they themselves don't follow. So shortly after that, somebody had responded to that, trying to do this whole sob story. My dad died of COVID, but go ahead and tell me about your precious freedom. And so I was like, yeah, that's it. I had a certain celebrity respond basically saying that it's a shame that humanity has gotten so ugly that we do not value the lives of other people. So I responded to her basically calling her a moron. In fact, I think moron is the exact word I used. And somebody else, and this is the person who I had the main debate with, she was trying to say that I was the moron because I didn't care if other people lived or died. Which, there's a small degree of truth to that. I don't really give a flying fuck. Not because I don't care if people live or die, but because somebody else getting sick and dying of something shouldn't compromise my freedoms. Shouldn't compromise the freedoms of any other American if it can be helped. And by that, I mean, you know, okay, like, let's say that my son got some sort of a deadly disease. Obviously, that's going to make an impact on my life, but that doesn't mean the government should tell me how. And it shouldn't it shouldn't impact how other people in other parts of the country are restricted by the government. If my son gets some sort of I'm sorry, I'm getting tired. If my son gets some sort of a deadly disease, why the hell should people in South Dakota have their lives completely ruined because of something going on in Southwest Washington? It's fucking dumb. And I feel the same thing about COVID. Anyways, conversation took some interesting turns. This person seems to think that comparing the government telling you to wearing seatbelts is the same thing, which I'm like, the only thing that they have in common, and I obviously didn't say it like this because it's not exactly the way that she worded it, which is probably the reason why I should make this video anyways. I don't think that the government should be telling you whether or not you should be wearing seatbelts or not. I don't think it makes sense. If I'm driving in my car, which what car? But if I'm driving in my car, I should have every right to decide if I wear a seatbelt or not. Now, I can understand if my son is sitting in the back because he's a small child. He should be wearing a booster. He should be wearing a booster seat while he's in my car. Makes sense. I feel that same way about babies. I feel that same way about elderly people in wheelchairs or some other sort of physical handicap to where, you know, their lives are literally hanging in the balance. I can understand in that kind of case, but none of those apply to me. I should be allowed to choose if I wear a seatbelt. I should be allowed to choose if I have car insurance. I don't think it should be mandatory by law. That's fucking stupid. And I also believe it's part of the reason why insurance is so expensive. It's not the only reason, don't get me wrong, but it's definitely part of it. Oh, and also there was the aspect brought up of drunk driving. First of all, and, you know, maybe I should say this for the video, but I'm going to go ahead and say it anyways. I don't think that should really apply to me because I don't drive in general. I don't like to socially drink. And honestly, I don't like to get drunk. I just like to have one, maybe two drinks, have them be mild, but I only like to do it when I'm at home. Well, I usually only like to do it when I'm at home, and preferably when my son's not around. You know, I'm just kind of weird like that. Which makes my YouTube channel all that much more bizarre. Why are you called a shot of whiskey if you're not a drunk? Because it's a shot of whiskey, not a bottle of whiskey. But so what if I drive while drunk? So what? If I get from point A to point B without destroying anything, without maiming anybody, why the fuck should it matter? I didn't do anything legally wrong aside from driving while drunk, and I don't think that should be a law. Now, I do think that if you do one of those things, you should be punished, but that should not depend on if you're drunk or not. It should be if you caused the damage or not. I can kind of understand the argument of if it's done while you're drunk, maybe it should have a bigger impact on the punishment. I can kind of understand that. I don't know if I agree with it. That's something I guess I would have to think more about. But if I'm at a bar that's like 3 blocks away from my house, I get drunk, get in my car, drive home, nothing happens, why should I be in trouble with the law? So, but anyways, the conversation finally ended where this person claimed to use science and facts, and there's other things that this person had claimed, but I'm not going to respond to all those. I'm just going to simply say My final response to her was, if you have science and facts on your side, please state the scientific fact that validates why my rights as an American should be compromised because you want to pretend to be a compassionate human being. And her response is something along the lines of, geez, me, you're such a narcissist. Well, I'd rather be a narcissistic asshole than a moron, which is what you are. So, if you guys want like the full conversation going on, let me know in the description below. I'll probably work on that as well over this next week or so, especially since it's not really that long of a conversation, especially if you just focus on like that main point where I started. So, by the way, I don't remember, did I say who the celebrity was who responded to me? If not, I'll go and take this opportunity. It was Patricia Arquette. What do you fucking do, right? So, honestly, I don't even know of anything that she was in. That's how little of an impact she makes on my life. But then again, I can say the same thing about most actors and actresses. Most of them are people who are like, I really don't care who you are. I don't care what you've been in. I don't know who you are. You're nobody to me. Just go ahead and go back to living in make-believe land. So, anyways, I'm going to go ahead and sign on off. I was not planning this video being 17 minutes long, but whatever. Peace out, everyone. And do not forget, if you abuse alcohol, it will abuse you back.